Well, hello, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever that you might be watching. I just want to welcome you. This is our maiden edition of the Talking Results by Generation of Doers. I would like to welcome you wherever that you are joining from. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. Um, we're going to be talking about money. Money is always exciting, right? It's always exciting to talk about money. I have a guest here tonight or this afternoon, wherever that you are. Um, he's a man of an impeccable background. He's a man of an impeccable. Um, I think before I introduce my guest, I see a couple of people are asking. It looks like we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, we are live on some of the other outlets, but looks like a couple people are struggling to get in. Let me quickly here put in some messages for them so they know where to find us. We are live here. So a few comments are coming in. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. I've said it before, but also permit me to, say this again that um, information is critical, right? Information is very, very, very important. Particular information that transform and information that is usable. It is not every information that brings knowledge, and I hope you know this. When I know a lot of my audience here this afternoon and this evening, wherever you are. We are all believers, and as believers, we pray to God. We know God is going to bless us. Windows of heaven, and this is what I say all the time: that the windows of heaven that we talk about, God opens these windows of heaven through connecting us to opportunities, strong network, better jobs, information, etc. That is our window of windows of heaven, opening up to us. And so you need to pay attention tonight and this afternoon. I have a guest here. I know a lot of people are still asking about the link. I'm gonna be right back here. Um, it is not on Zoom. It's on YouTube and on Facebook. And so let's be clear on that. I'll be right back here so that I can give the instructions very well. I know a lot of people are waiting on Zoom. It is not on Zoom. Please connect to us on YouTube and on Facebook. Okay, all right. I'm back on again. I'm getting some little feedbacks here and there. Guys, bear with me. Today is the first time, and so there's going to be some few technical hitches here and there, but we are correcting all those technical hitches here and there. I hear some feedback, some echo. Um, okay, all right. I'm getting some little feedbacks here and there, but okay. And don't forget to keep your comments, your questions coming in. Shortly, I'll be sending a link where I will ask my audience, that is you, you'll be able to join in into the conversation as well. So be on the lookout for that. And also, I know people thought it's going to be Zoom where they can put in their comments and put in their questions, etc. You can still do that. You'll still be able to put in your questions and come up with any doubt, ambiguity about some of the subjects and some of the things that we will be talking about. So when you put in a comment on YouTube, I'm going to get it here. And then when you put in a comment on Facebook, it will still be here as well, and we will still get it. And so go ahead, put in your questions, your comments, whatever that you want Paul to address. He will surely do that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and bring in I'm going to go ahead and bring in Paul. So, Paul, good evening. I hope you can hear me okay.
Good evening, Sam. Confirm that you can hear me loud and clear.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Um,
Beautiful.
I can hear you loud and clear. I want to see if we can get one or two feedbacks also here from some of our audience as well. Hopefully, it's loud. I know, of course, there's going to be one or two technical stuff, but guys, bear with us. We're working on it, right? Bear with us. We're working on this. Paul, good evening. Tonight, this afternoon, I just want to have a conversation. When it comes to money, it is really, somebody said something. It's a matter of the heart, right?
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. So
um,
somebody said money is major. Everybody must measure money. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the course you read. It doesn't matter the career you are pursuing. Money is major, and everybody must measure money.
that is so right. That is so right, Paul. Money is a subject that we all need to, measure in. It is an institution. Whether you go through a formal education or informal education, whether
I am telling you.
it's mandatory for everybody. Great to have you, Paul. Great to have you, Paul. I want to thank you. I know you are a very busy person. Your calendar from the beginning of the year. I've been following you, and I've seen some of the things that you have been doing. And I know you've had a lot of engagement, right?
Yeah.
You've a lot of engagement. You've had a lot of engagement, and for you to be able to squeeze us in, I am excited. I'm elated that the busy schedules and all the tight meetings,
Yeah.
engagements you have been able to squeeze us also in so that you can talk to us. What you do, I always say that you are the one that is preaching the gospel. This one saves life.
Thank you. Thank you.
This one saves life, and I love it. That you're saving the lives of people. Paul, let's get into our conversation tonight, and let's begin to talk about the subject for tonight. We're talking
Yeah.
about financial freedom. Financial freedom. Paul,
Yeah.
what is financial freedom? Is it a myth? Is it for a selected people, of our society, the elite? Is it for people with, bags and bags of, wealth and money,
Yeah.
coming as an inheritance? Paul, demystify this for us.
Thank
This
you. Thank
financial
you, Sam.
freedom.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. So when we talk about financial freedom, or if you want financial independence, exactly what do we mean? And I want to answer that question by first asking a question. And this is something I want our audience to think through. And it's a very simple question. Don't get upset with me this with the question I'm going to ask. But if you lost your job today, or if you didn't have to work again for the rest of your life, the question is, how many months, how many years can you survive? Can you live the normal life you are living now without salary or without working to make an income? It's a question you need to think about. If you lost your job today, or if you didn't have to work from today, how many months, how many years can you survive without the salary? When we talk about financial independence, it's a very or financial freedom. It basically has to do with getting to that stage in life where you can sustain your desired lifestyle without salary. Getting to a stage in life where you can sustain your lifestyle if you even decide not to work for salary again. And let me explain it.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have investment generating some cash flow, so let's say you need, let's say $2,000 a month, just for the purposes of our conversation,
That's right.
$2,000 a month for your desired lifestyle, and you have a property you've given out for investment, and that property gives you rental income of $3,000 or $4,000. $4,000 is twice what you need for your desired lifestyle. At this point, we can say that without income, the
Mm-hmm.
salary can generate cash flows to take care of you. Or you have investment in financial assets. You need $2,000 a month for your desired lifestyle. And you have investment in financial asset generating returns of $3,000, $4,000 a month. More than the returns is more than what you need for your desired lifestyle. At that point, we can say you are financially independent, because without a salary, you can live the life you want to live even without the salary. And you see, let me put this in context, because some people are getting us wrong. There's some. We are not teaching financial independence. So we'll get the badge of some lazy young men and young women who are wealthy, who have their money working for them. The guy needs $2,000 for his design lifestyle, and he has investment generating $5,000, and he sits home doing nothing and watches TV. No, that's not what we are teaching.
Okay.
We are pushing the agenda of financial freedom and financial independence, so we can find young men, young women who will get to a stage in life where they can do things that bring them fulfillment that may not necessarily be financially rewarding. So when you become financially free at the stage of financial independence, rental payment and school fees does not become the motivation any longer. And that is the stage you can reflect, you can be creative, you can be innovative. If you have to spend 2 weeks, if you have to spend a year just thinking about an idea and polishing it up, you don't think about what happens to my rent. You don't think about what happens to my children's school fees. So financial independence is basically getting to that stage where you can sustain your desired lifestyle without salary. And it's very
All right. So
subjective.
Paul,
You
so Paul,
as a person need to be clear.
So, Paul, to break it down and use myself, I've always loved the idea that I want to be able to give back to society. I want to be able to come back home to Ghana and then give back. By giving back, what I mean is that go to deprived communities, go to villages,
Mm,
different towns, help them build schools, and be able to help with clean water, etc. Do social impacting projects, right? And so for me to be able to do this, there's a precondition, right? I got to be able to come to a place or a point where, I have something decent coming in. I have some income coming in that will not put me, myself, and my family in a place of inconvenience, right? And so
yeah,
I'll be able to venture out there and then do some of the things that I've just said that I would love to do. That is what we call financial independence.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. It's as simple as that. Look, there are some villages and some communities, not only in Ghana, but in a number of developing countries, children who may not have seen a computer before. And assuming that, look, you are financially independent and you get into a deprived community and you want to help teach these children, you want to serve in an orphanage, you put a smile in the faces of these orphans, you want to teach in that deprived school and bring some hope to these children. But money does not become the motivation any longer.
Right.
Money does not become the motivation.
All right, Paul. I've got some questions coming in, and guys, those of you who are joining in, I know I have almost about 25 people on YouTube watching, and some other people on the other side on Facebook, etc. Hey, guys, I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to come up with questions. If you comment on YouTube, I'm going to grab it here. I'll ask Paul your question for you. So go ahead. Don't wait till I will say, okay, this is the time to ask your questions. Go ahead and put your comment, your question, etc., all in there, and I'll be sure to take it up so that Paul can give us some answers. And of course, those on you Facebook to the same thing. If you comment on it, I'm going to go ahead and grab it. I'll see it over here on this side, and then I'll make sure that Paul will answer your questions as well for you. Paul, let me start with this. When does financial liberation start? When does this start? And that's
good question.
My question is around this. Does it start when I give out maybe some $5,000 or 10,000 Ghana cedis or 15,000? When does this start? Paul.
Good. So I mean, the journey starts when you become conscious of the fact that you want to become financially independent. So it starts in the mind. And we are not in church, but my favorite scripture in the Bible, Ephesians 3:20, the Bible says, "Now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we imagine or act, according to the power that is at work in us." So you got to imagine that the law of first creation states that everything is created twice, first mentally and second physically. Without the first creation, you cannot have the second creation. Financial liberation, financial independence is created twice. Financial freedom is created twice. The mind, I need to see it first. So you need to come to a point where you take a decision that, look, I want to start a journey towards becoming financially independent. And for me, once that decision is taken, even when you haven't put a dime away, once that decision is taken and you are conscious and you are deliberate that I want to become financially independent, and then you have a clear plan that I'm going to be doing A, B, C, D. It may not happen in 5 years. It may not even happen in 10 years, but I want to start the journey towards financial freedom. You have started that journey. You're on mute, Sam. You're on mute.
There are some questions, coming in, Paul, right now that, hey, am I not independent enough if I have, $20,000 in my savings account? Am I not, financially independent if I have, 50,000 Ghana cedis in my bank account? Paul, demystify this for us. What is the difference between savings and investment?
Thank you. So if you have $20,000, $50,000 in your account, and that is not generating income, anytime as the months go by, as you spend, you are diminishing whatever reserve you have. As you spend, you are diminishing that reserve. You get to a point where you will exhaust it. And I say that for starters, for the average person, each worker, each adult need to have what I call 6 months of income cover minimum. 6 months of income cover. What does it mean? What it means is that, look, if something should happen and you are not working again, the next 6 months, you're going to be able to live the life you want to live. 6 months of income cover. But if you have 50,000, 100,000, even 500,000 in your account, it doesn't mean anything. Because if you have 100,000 cedis in your account and you spend 10,000 cedis every month, what it means is that within 10 months, you will be gone. Within 10 months, you're going to exhaust everything you have in that account. So financial independence, freedom is when you have created a system that automatically generates cash flows. And that can generate the cash flows into perpetuity. It's not just for 6 months. It's not just for 1 month. It's not just for 1 year. But you have structured the cash flow such that it can generate, or you've structured a system, whether it's in investment or properties or real estate or painted or whatever, but you have a system in place that is generating cash flows into perpetuity. And you ask a question about savings and investment. So when we talk about saving is basically deferred consumption, money not spent. It's as simple as that. Deferred consumption. So if I give you $10,000 or 10,000 cedis or 100,000 cedis, and you kept that money, you are saving. You are saving. But because of inflation, because prices of goods and services will keep increasing, if you kept that money for 5 years, for 10 years, you go and count, assuming I give you 100,000, you keep it, go and check. You will still count 100,000. But what that 100,000 can do today, in 10 years, it may not be able to do, because prices of goods and services will keep increasing. So it's not enough to save. Savings is a good beginning. And let me also say this, that we save for two reasons. We save to meet emergencies, and we save to invest. A lot of people are saving only for emergencies. They are saving to pay school fees, to fix their broken down car. They don't save to invest. But when you are saving, savings means deferred consumption. I am not consuming this money now. And it's for two reasons. And for me, the most important of the two reasons is investment. Now, so savings is you are keeping the money. Investment is you are committing whatever you have saved, either into a financial asset or into a business, so that it generates cash flows. So that is basically the difference between savings and investment. Sam, over to you.
Now, this brings to mind something that I've always wanted to ask you. Since you're talking about this, who is an investment for? Is investment for everybody? Do we need to accumulate some huge sum of money somewhere before we can start an investment? How do we start it, Paul?
Sam, investment is for everybody. Once a decision is taken, once you take a decision, and you see, it's important. Let me digress a bit, but I'll come back to your question. You see, the issue of money must be taken serious. So
yes,
money is major. Everybody must measure money. The truth is that poverty and riches are both based on decisions. If you don't decide to be rich, the financial challenges is likely to be the default. And the truth is, the lack of money is a major source of stress in our lives and relationships.
Right.
Who said money is not important? This life is not all about money, I know, but money must be understood. Okay. Almost everything physical can be answered with money. Almost everything physical can be answered with money. Money will give you the ability to do more things. And more things here means more things. And it means more things.
That's right.
It simply means more things.
That's right.
Including being here. You needed data to be here to benefit. It is more things.
That's right.
Money will give you access to better healthcare facilities. Don't take it lightly. People are dying when they shouldn't die. And we say the Lord has called him. Yes, and it's a nice way of packaging it. But when somebody needs $1,000, somebody needs $500 to buy medication, to go through a simple medical procedure, and they are not able to raise that money and they die, it is possible poverty has caused the death. Money will give us access to better educational opportunities, better educational facilities. Money, in fact, does even make marriage better. I was in a corporate seminar the other day, and I said, money makes marriage better. A lady lifted her hand, and she said, Mr. Mante, even romance without money is equal to annoyance.
Paul.
Even romance without money is equal to annoyance.
It's a great annoyance.
Money is everybody's business. Investment is for everybody. And you are a man, so we can talk boys, man to man. Sam, our wives, our women, they don't eat I love you.
Paul, say that one more time, Paul. Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Let me repeat it, Sam. Let me repeat it. I am saying our women don't eat I love you.
Well, the reason why I want you to rehash on that, the reason why I've got some single folks here, I've got some of my guys here, and I want you to rehash on that. This is why this program, this event is very important, and they need to take it very seriously. Paul, I want us to get into a different area. I've heard you talk about 10, 20, 70 principle. What portion of your investment. Now, I want you to get a quick 30 seconds breather, get some water, and then we'll be right back here. All right, welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
I have Mr. Paul Kofi Mante here today on our series, our investment series, talking about, talking results. This program, the title is what? Talking Results. We have to come to a point where it is not just math, but we taking action. Execution is the key thing over here, right? Execution is the main thing over here. So let the results speak. We want our results and our actions, executions to speak for us. Now, Paul, when it comes to investment, the reason why a lot of people, will have excuses and procrastinate, they'll say, I don't make too much. I don't make too much, for my only income. I like everything that you guys are discussing, but my salary is maybe 2,000 Ghana cedis. My monthly income is maybe $4,000, etc. Paul, will you please break this down for us? About the 10, 20, 70 principle. What portion of our income should we dedicate? We have to be intentional with this. Should we dedicate towards investment?
Yeah. So some people will say my salary is not enough. Charlie, that thing, even it's not enough for the man, then you are saying we should invest. But let me give 2 or 3 scriptures just to put some positive pressure on all of us. Right. When you read Proverbs 10:15, Proverbs 10:15, the Bible says, the rich man's wealth is a strong city. The distraction of the poor is their poverty. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The distraction of the poor is their poverty. Proverbs 22:7. Proverbs 22:7. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. Let me add one more. Proverbs 19:7. Proverbs 19:7. The poor are shunned by all their relatives. How much more do their friends avoid them? Though the poor pursue them with pleading, they are nowhere to be found. Charlie, you need to make a decision.
Yes.
As a someone with capsule, you need to be firm in your mind that financial freedom, I will pursue this thing. I will take shortcuts. I'm not taking any money that does not belong to me, but I will pursue this thing. And I will hit on 10, 20, 70. But people will say the salary is not enough. But you see, there is a law called the Parkinson law. The Parkinson law explains why most people retire poor, even after earning substantial income through their working years. The Parkinson law says that no matter how much people earn, they will always adjust their lifestyle to match their salary. No matter how much people earn, they will always adjust their lifestyle to match their salary. So as salary is increasing, people are adjusting lifestyle. So let the salary increase, people will adjust lifestyle. And I've met people. I did a seminar in the church in Ghana 2 years ago or so. I asked a simple question. How many of you are not investing because your salaries are not enough? Let me see by hand. Those of you are not investing because your salaries are not enough. All the hands went up. Almost everybody in the auditorium. Then I did a follow-up question. How many of you believe that if your salary is doubled from today, now it's going to be enough and you're going to be able to save and invest? If your salary is doubled, let me see by hand. Almost all the hands went up. And I called 10 people at random. You come. And remember, this is about 4 or 5 hours away from Accra. I don't know them. I was a guest speaker. I called 4 or 5 people, 10 individuals at random. You come. They step out. I give each person a piece of paper, and I told everybody to write their current salary for me. And they all wrote their current salaries for me. Sam, this is 2 years ago. Among the 10, the lowest income earner was on a salary of 350 cedis a month. 350 cedis a month. If you convert to dollars, you're looking at about $50 a month. About $50 a month. This was this person's monthly salary. And this person believes that it's not enough. A double of that is $100 is going to be enough. But among the 10 of them, there was one on a salary of 500 cedis, 5,000 a month. 5,000 a month, you convert to dollars, you're looking at about $720 there about. The guy earning $50 says it's not enough. If it is doubled, it's going to be enough. The guy earning over $700 says it's not enough. If it is doubled, it's going to be enough. Meanwhile, he's earning 14 times the guy earning the $50 a month. Within the 10 of them, the highest income was on a salary of 20,000 a month. And I called these individuals at random. The guy earning 20,000 a month is also on a salary of about $2,900 a month. About $2,900 a month. So the guy earning 50 cedis a month says it's not enough. A double of that is going to be enough. But the guy earning $2,900 a month, which is almost 60 times the guy earning $50 a month, also says it's not enough. If my salary is double, then it's going to be enough. So you need to ask yourself, what salary is enough? What level of salary is going to be enough? And watch all of us, the cars we use. Our salary is increasing. We are changing. Levels don't change. We change the cars we drive. We change where we shop. We change the perfume we use because salary is increasing. And that can be explained from the Parkinson law. So the way to deal with it is the recommendation of the 10-20-70 principle. What does it mean? If you believe in tithing, you pay your tithe of 10%. That is the 10. The 20 is whatever income you make. A minimum of 20% must go into an investment for your salary, for your future. Whatever income you make, a minimum of 20% of what you are making must go into an investment for your future. Where did I get a 20% from? I got it, if you are familiar with the Bible and the story of Joseph and then Pharaoh. Pharaoh having a dream, a terrible dream that that troubled him, and Joseph interpreted a dream, and Joseph said, we're going to have 7 years of harvest, and after that we're going to have 7 years of difficulty. And Joseph said that during the 7 years of harvest, if we can put 1/5 of the harvest away, 1/5 is 20%. That is why I took the 20% from. If we can put 1/5 of the harvest away, when the time of challenges come, we are just going to be fine. So, and everybody here will all have times of harvest, and everybody will go through that cycle. You get to a period where things will be a bit dry for you, but if you are smart, during the period of good harvest, you put 20% away, so that during the period of difficulty, you can rely on the 20% you've been putting away. And remember, I'm not talking about 20% into a savings. I'm not talking about 20% into an investment. And the maximum of 70% can be for all other things. But let me put
we've lost Paul. He's going to be back. Well, he's back. Paul, you back?
Sam, I can hear you. Confirm you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you too.
Yeah. So you see, the 10-20-70 principle would work very well when you're a young man. You are in your 30s. You are in your 30s. Once you cross the 40, you don't have a lot of time. In fact, so if you are in a country where you let me use Ghana as just an example to explain the point. If the retirement age in Ghana is 60 years, if you're already 55 years and you are listening to us, or you are 50 years and you are listening to us, and you're going to use 10-20-70, you're going to be putting 20% away. I bet you by the time you are 60, you will still have financial challenges. So the 10-20-70 will apply for the younger people, those below 40. Once you cross 40, you got to step up your game. For some of us, you must think about doing 40%. Yours must be 10-40-50. 10% tithe, 40% investment, and then 50% for all other things. Some of us, it must be 10-50-40. 10% for investment, 10% for tithe, 50% for investment, 40% for all other things. Some, it may even be 10-60-30. 10-60-30. So you got to look at your age, you got to look at the years you have ahead of you, and you got to step up your game very quickly. Sam, over to you.
Question here. We all get puzzled all the time about financial freedom. We want to be able to save, put in some money somewhere. For us to be able to achieve this financial independence or financial freedom that we're discussing, do we have to be frugal? is it a case of frugality versus wastefulness, or we should just avoid wastefulness? Can you, break this up? Whether we should stop eating, start eating Gary Soakins all the time, and then, some of my boys are here. Well, we have to skip our breakfast. We have to forgo our breakfast in the morning before we can be financially independent. Break this down for us.
Good question. Good question. Good question. I remember several years ago. Let me say this. You can laugh over it. I think it was PIWC Kumasi or something. I was invited for a youth camp, and I went to talk to them about financial planning. So when we went on break, I saw somebody who had gone to buy water, and another person rebuked the person that you've gone to buy water. The man is just teaching us to invest, and you've got to buy water. So what we are teaching is managing finances well. You don't have to be wasteful. You got to learn to save. You got to learn to invest. You got to learn to live within your means. In fact, one of the key drivers to the journey of financial independence is when you can tell yourself, I am not in competition with anybody. And I'm not living my life to please anybody. It's my life. It's my future. It's my journey towards financial independence. So I'm not going to live my life to please anybody. I am not in competition with anybody. You see, Sam, let's not forget this. Within every income, there is food and there is seed. Just like in most fruits.
Paul, say that one more time. Within every income, there is what? There is food?
There is food and there is seed.
Okay.
Just like in most fruits, you will find seed and you will find food. The food in the fruit is for consumption. The food in the income is for consumption. The seed in the fruit is for planting, and not for consumption. The seed in the income is not for consumption, it's for investment. So let's not confuse. A lot of people will struggle with their finances the next 10 years, the next 20 years, because they consume both the food and the seed in their income. Almost every expenditure can be cut down if you pay attention to it just a little bit. Almost every expenditure can be cut down. Let me make an important statement, Sam. Are you ready to listen to the statement I'm going to make?
We are ready.
Your salary must dictate what you eat, not your appetite.
Hey, Paul, so if I want to eat banku in the morning and have fufu and some, good fish, and my income should be able to now, dictate to me what I should eat.
Sam, there are people who are eating well, but who are living on loans. There are people who are living well, but who are not creating any future. Right. Your salary, or rather your income, must dictate what you eat, not your appetite.
Right.
Look, there is some salary levels. There are some shops, if you are not disciplined, you don't even enter. When you are walking in town, the shop is on your left. When you get there, you shout yourself, eyes right. And you pass and you go. You see, we got to pay attention to simple things like utility bills. Right. You can bring down your utility bills through simple changes in lifestyles. We got to pay attention to our electricity bill, our water bill, our telephone bills. These are simple things. Avoid impulse buying. Avoid the impression mentality. Avoid impulse buying. One fundamental pillar in the journey towards financial independence is budgeting. Your ability to budget. You should be able to look at the purchase. You should be able to look at something you need to spend money on and say, I haven't budgeted for this. I'm sorry. I am not buying it. It's not in my budget. You see, put your children in schools you can afford. You are not in competition with anybody. Stop throwing away leftover food. These are simple things we take for granted. Sam, anytime you throw away leftover food, it is not food you are throwing away. It is money you are throwing away. Anytime you throw away leftover food, it is not food you are throwing away. It is money you are throwing away. We manage funds for a number of wealthy people. And look, I've observed this about all of them. They are all very particular about spending habit. So you visit a rich man, a dollar millionaire. And the wife can ask you, Paul, we are cooking plantain. We want to have lunch before you leave. How many fingers of a plantain will you eat? Because they cook thinking about those who are going to be eating. The poor and middle class, we cook. Let me say this, and you can laugh over it. See, when you visit extremely wealthy people and they serve you food, Sam, they don't dish out the food. So you are sitting on the dining table, they are sitting on the other side. If it is rice, the rice is in a flask there. The stew is on the table. They put in front of you an empty plate with your cutlery, with the ladle and all that. And they say, oh, Paul or Sam, feel free and serve yourself. You, Sam, you're a visitor. The man is seated there. The wife is seated there. You can serve yourself.
Well, we get into the very final quarter of our discussion. There are a couple of questions that I want us to take, and when we come back, I want us to get very practical, right? I want us to get very practical with this. Well, number one, in the areas that we need to invest, the kind of the classes of maybe investment funds that are available at Ecobank, EDC, and some of the things that you may want to suggest for us. We need to get practical because Paul, there's a scripture that always scares me, right? There's a scripture that always scares me.
Share it, my brother. I want to hear
it. Proverbs 13:22. Bible says that a rich man leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Granted, maybe our fathers, their grandparents, nobody shared this scripture with them. Some of the churches that maybe they attended, nobody talk about some of these things with them that they're supposed to plan ahead so they can leave an inheritance for their children's children. And so, Paul, we will go for a quick 10 seconds, and then when we come back, I want us to get into some practicals. What areas we'll talk on the areas that we're supposed to invest and what we can start with. And of course, I want you to address an issue that bothers, people in the diaspora a lot. That is inflation, the currency depreciation in Ghana, and how that will impact negatively or maybe positively on their investment. So when we come back, 30 seconds, we will get into that. All right, welcome back, guys. So my guest today is Mr. Paul Kofi Mante. Paul Kofi Mante is a man with depth when it comes to the subject and the area of wealth management, wealth creation, personal finance, etc. You cannot go wrong with somebody like that. Giving you all these free nuggets, all this free advice. And I hope you guys are taking note. Make sure you write something down. This is something that I always insist. That, hey, anytime, we come near, we come close to such, a man with almost like a repository, a repository and a fountain of, information when it comes to finances. Guys, make sure that you're taking notes, you're writing something down. Again, let me rehash that, keep your comments coming in. If you have a comment for him, a question, I beg your pardon, a question for him, make sure that you put it on the Facebook and then on the YouTube comment section. I will surely grab it and make sure that Paul will address your concern. Paul, let's talk about this. Let's start from here. With a lot of people here in the diaspora, let's get more practical. When it comes to an investment back home in Ghana, their main source of worry, one of the major concerns for them is about the depreciation of the Ghana cedi against the US dollar and how that will impact on their investment. Converting, there's going to be conversion in there from dollar to the cedi and how that will impact them. Talk to us a little bit on that, Paul.
Yeah. So when it comes to the depreciation of the currency, truth is the cedi has always depreciated against the dollar. Year on year, it's always depreciated against the dollar. But when you look at historical depreciation, so let me give you an example. When you pick between the year 2013 to about the year 2021, depreciation is between about 12 and 13%, average between 12 and 13%. Within that same period, if you pick the return on the EDC fixed income fund, the return is 20%. The return is 20%. Within that same period, if you pick the return on the 91-day treasury bill, the return is 17.5%. 17.5%. So yes, the cedi always depreciate against the dollar. But when you look at history, we can't tell what will happen the next 10 years, 20 years. But I've gone back as far back as 1990 to check. You'll realize that the return you make in cedis far more compensates for the depreciation. So even though the cedi is depreciating, you are getting more in cedis that compensates you for the depreciation. So you end up making some good returns on the dollar. If you use the 2013 to 2021, for example, you end up making about 7% on the dollar. So yes, the depreciation is a major worry, and we all wish that the cedi will not depreciate. But the hard truth is that when you look at the return you make in cedis, it far more compensates for the depreciation, and you get an upside. So there is no point, based on the historical figures, to be worried about the depreciation. But Sam, this has to do with your previous question. Let me put this in context before the boys will beat me up when we are done with this conversation. The fact that we are saying that we should be frugal, we should be careful, does not mean that don't live. Because there are some people who are always planning. Charlie, they're always planning. When you observe a number of marriages, especially the Krife brothers, the whole marital life is like a triangle. It's church, work, home, church, work, home. There is no vacation. There is no outing. There is no weekend out of home.
Slow down on that. What do you say about the young couple? It's almost like a triangle, right? It looks like a triangle. It's church, home, work.
I'm telling you. And they are married for 20 years. They are married for 30 years. They never went on a vacation. They never ate in a good restaurant. So I am not saying because we are teaching financial freedom, it doesn't mean you should not live. Make money, but plan for these things. Plan for what I call high life. Plan and chop some of the money. Take a good vacation once in a while and enjoy it, because it's important for your health. I just to put it to balance the conversation before people say I said they shouldn't eat.
All right, Paul. Now let's get more practical here, and then if you can put some numbers, the numbers together for us, because there's a numbers. We want to be able to see some numbers here. Let's say I say, okay, I've heard this. This is great news. I've always wanted to do this, and today Paul has really bring some revelation, and he has exposed us to great information on investment. So let's say we want to start doing something, right? Give us some idea. That we will throw some hypothetical number in there, and then if we can begin to, you can put something together on this number for us, and let's see where this will land us. So Paul, if let's say I want to do this, and I start with maybe 1,000, Ghana cedis or something like that. What is going to be the interest? What am I going to what's going to be the return on investment, the ROI on a value or an amount like that? If you suggest some of your investment portfolios or your fund portfolios to us, give us some idea here, and so that we can begin to now plug in some numbers in our mind and see where we can start from.
Okay, good one. It's important to say that per our practice and regulation, we don't guarantee returns. And let me state that we are not permitted to guarantee returns. So when we talk about returns, we will normally look at historical returns and give you some averages. So like I said earlier on, when you look at, for example, the EDC Ghana Fixed Income Fund, and you look at the returns, we started this in 2012 up to 2021, the average return has been 20.7%. 20.7%. And these are net returns, net of fees and all other things. This is actually what you are taking home. You are not paying anything on this return. 2013 full year up to 2021 full year, the fund has generated an average return of 20.7%, approximately 21%. So these are hard facts. These are numbers that if you were in, you will be getting these numbers over the years.
Okay. So to get more real, when I put in an amount like that, 1,000 Ghana cedis like that, what kind of a monthly recurring maybe amount do I need to sort of, like I need to put in something monthly, right? How do we come to that determination? Is it because I want to maybe retire, or maybe I have some number of years ahead of me that, hey, I want to gain some financial independence? How do we arrive at that point?
Yeah, it's all because of the future you want to have. So you are building a certain future, and because of this future, and let's not forget the core of our conversation is financial freedom, because you want to achieve financial independence, and that scripture is very important. A good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So you are not thinking about just one generation, and you are not thinking about just financial freedom for yourself, but you want to fulfill scripture as well. And when I read that scripture, I ask myself a lot of questions. Some of the questions I can't ask here. So, a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. But Sam, it's because of the future you want to build. So let's talk about somebody. You mentioned 1,000 cedis. Okay. Let's talk about somebody who has 1,000 cedis today. Who says, look, I can have 1,000 today, but I can add 500 cedis every month. Paul, I'm 30 years today, and I can add 500 cedis every month. I want to build up investment till age 60. How will age 60 look like? And I'm using 18%. When I do these calculations, remember the fund has generated about 21%, 20.7%. But I want to be a bit conservative, so I'm using 18% for the calculation here. Right. If you use 18% compounded quarterly, within the 30 years, you would have invested the total amount. Remember, you have 1,000 already. You are doing 500 every month. 500 every month is 6,000 cedis a year. 6,000 a year. So 6,000 a year means that within 10 years, you're looking at 60,000. Within 20 years, you're looking at 120,000. Within 30 years, you're looking at 180,000. But we have 1,000 cedis already. So 181,000. That is the total amount we would have invested. But because of the return on investment and what is called the power of compounding, and let me explain, you create wealth through the concept of little by little and the power of compounding, little by little. Little by little, and the power of compounding, you build it up little by little. And the way the power of compounding works is when you make interest and you don't take the interest, with time, the interest also makes interest, whilst your principal is making interest, and all the new interest makes interest, whilst the old interest is still making interest, and your principal is making interest, and the interest on the interest still makes interest, and the previous interest makes interest, and the old interest makes interest, and your principal makes interest, and all the interest makes interest with time, and the interest on the interest makes interest. Once the interest on the interest is making interest, all the old interest is making interest, and the principal is making interest, and your money keeps growing. That is simply the concept of the power of compounding. So in 30 years, the 181,000 would have grown to 6.7 million cedis.
So Paul, let's say, maybe 30 years is maybe a little bit, futuristic for some of my
Yeah.
client audience here, my audience here that listening. Let's bring it to an annual thing. Let's say annually. So, two case scenario here. Let's say I put in the 1,000 Ghana cedis, and then the first, test case, 1,000 Ghana cedis with maybe a monthly contribution of maybe 50 Ghana cedis more, maybe 100 Ghana cedis more here, right? And then the second use case or test case here is 1,000 Ghana cedis without any additional monthly, contribution. Can you give us some idea, how much this person will be making, so that, my audience, to the layman, we want to be able to water this down to the lay persons, right? So that they'll be able to understand this.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. But it's also important to be clear here that we are not teaching magic. If you want to become financially independent, you got to be patient and you got to give yourself time. Some may be elderly, unfortunately. Sorry, we didn't share this message when you were younger. But you want to become financially free. It's important to understand that it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Minimum 5 years, maximum 25, 30 years. Anybody can become financially independent. Minimum 5 years, maximum 25 years, 30 years. So it's people come to me sometimes, say, I want to make my first million cedis, but I want to make it in 2 years. But they don't have the capacity to do it in 2 years. So it's also important to prepare the mind of our audience. And even when you start this journey, the first 2 years, you may not see what you're doing properly, because there is something called the concept of the base. Remember, you're making interest on what you have invested. And when the base is not strong, is not big enough, you won't see the interest in leaps and then bounce. You won't see the interest being big. So if you start the first 2 years, if you're not careful, you can be discouraged. But after 2 years, after 5 years, when the base has become big, you get to a point where the return on the investment is now far higher than how much you are contributing. The return on the investment becomes higher than that. So back to your question, let's look at somebody who does 1,000 and has 200 cedis every month. Let's use 10 years. For 10 years, total amount invested is 25,000. That 25,000 is going to end up being 70,000, about 70,000. Assuming this person had invested the 1,000 without the 200 cedis every month, they will end up with 5,800 cedis. That is the difference. So the guy who they all have 1,000 cedis, one decides that I'll add 200 cedis to the 1,000 every month. The next 10 years, he has 70,000. The guy who does 2,000, who does the 1,000 and never asks anything, in the next 10 years, he has 5,800.
I think this is explicit enough. It cannot get better than than this. This is explicit enough for everybody. So I know there were some questions that were coming in here about what funds and what can they start with and what is the interest rate. I hope your question has been answered here. Paul, we'll be wrapping up quick here. I want you to talk about 5 areas. We may have to get another session to talk about retirement.
you don't have a problem,
because retirement is critical. Some of us, we already late, to retire. We already late. Paul, what are some of the 5 areas that everybody, it doesn't matter your age, category or the age bracket, everybody, we must all plan 5 areas that financially we must plan.
Thank you, Sam. So first of all, I would say that plan for anything that you think is important to you. If you love cars and you think cars are important to you, plan for it. You love charity, you think charity is important to you, plan for it. But if you ask me as a financial planner, based on my experience and my career, what I do, the 5 important areas I would recommend. One is retirement, old age. Retirement. You got to pay attention to retirement. And when you look at the statistics, the numbers, they are horrifying. When people go on retirement and you see the life they have lived, they have worked hard, but they never plan for old age. And you see the life they are living at old age. Sometimes you want to weep. So you want to pay attention to retirement. Second area of planning is what I call housing.
Mm.
Housing. You got to pay attention to housing. There is a point you need to stop paying rent. There is a point where the landlord must not be able to threaten you. So you need to be able to have your own house. The challenge with housing is that a number of people confuse dream house with the first house. So
Mm.
average person wants to buy a house or build a house, and they go and buy something huge, some 7-bedroom house that if they took a mortgage, they are never able to finish paying. They will use the rest of their life in servicing the mortgage. If they were buying the house for the rest, if they were building the house for the rest of their lives, they are committing all their resources into that 7-bedroom house. And by the time they are done with the house, all the children are gone. And once the issue of housing comes up, let me talk to my friends and colleagues in the diaspora. There is no point in coming to build a huge house in Ghana when you are living in the US. When you are living in the Canada, in the UK. I've seen too many people making this mistake. And you know what? We spend so much money on this house such that we are not willing to rent it out because you bought Italian tiles. The things you use for the house, you brought them from the US, high-end things. So you end up with a family member being a caretaker, and you will end up paying the utility bills. If anything gets broken in the house, you will need to bring money to fix it. But that is how a house you don't need. I was in the US 2 years ago, had a program with the church. One friend in Nigeria, he had built a 7-bedroom house in his village in Nigeria because he said he was building the 7-bedroom house. So anytime they go home, the children can find a place to sleep. But he said, Paul, you know what? Since we completed that house, the children have never been home.
That's a liability.
That's a liability. And when you come home with the children, how many weeks do you spend? If we are lucky, you spend 2 weeks with us.
2 weeks for the maximum for most, African Americans or Ghanaian Americans. 2 weeks, that's the maximum.
You are gone. So what is the point in coming to build a huge property here and you are living abroad? Cash is king. Cash is king. Once you have cash, if you want to buy a property tomorrow, you can find one to buy. Even if you want to build within 3 months, maximum 6 months, you can put up the structure you want if you have the cash in your hands. So property is the second area. Housing is the second area of planning I wanted to touch on. It's also important to state that if you have access to a mortgage, take advantage of it because when you pay rent, that money is gone for good. It will never come back again. Anytime you service a mortgage, you are owning the property. Third area of planning is the children's education. Be deliberate and plan for the children's education. When it comes to planning for the children's education, if you have young children, then you're going to have 2 levels of planning. You're going to plan for current school fees and you're going to plan for college. You've got to be clear in your mind what kind of college education you want to give to your children. Public university in Ghana, private university in Ghana, even private university in Ghana, there are classes. Or you want to take them abroad. If you want to take them abroad, where are you taking them to? A lot of people are going to we're going to Ukraine, or you want to take them to China, or you want to take them to the US. If you want to take them to the US, what kind of school are you looking at in the US? Are you looking at the lower end? Are you looking at the public one? Or you're looking at the high end, or you are looking at an Ivy League school? It's important to be clear in your mind the kind of college education you want to give to the children and be deliberate and plan towards it. If your children are young, for the current school fees, what I'll recommend is you look at the school fees for the term or for the semester and look at the number of terms within the year so you can get the total school fees for the year divided by 12 months. So you can have the school fees per month and you can make monthly provision for the school fees. So every month, the school fees for the year divided by 12. So every month you can put something away towards the school fees. Fourth area of planning is what I call giving back, charity. The Lord blesses us to be a blessing to other people. It's sometimes it's not about the number of cars you have and the number of houses you have. It's also about the number of faces you are putting a smile on. It's about the number of people you are blessing. The Lord blesses us not to be a reservoir of blessing, but to be a channel to be a conduit through which other people will be blessed. He says, I will bless you so that you'll be a blessing. So giving back is the fourth area, blessing other people. And you could also easily do it through the church as well. The church is a good platform you can use to give back. And the fifth area of planning is what I call high life. You make money, chop some. I beg you, take a vacation, go to a good restaurant and go and eat with your loved one. Once in a while, somebody will say, do I'm sure. Do I'm sure once in a while. They say, it's me. Let me talk to them, man. We are Bema. Once in a while, you look for money in an envelope, good money in an envelope, hand it over to your wife. So, you say, Sam, what is this money for? It's for nothing. Chop it. So high life means, but I am saying plan for it. High life means let's plan and enjoy life. Plan to have a good vacation. When you are in Ghana, there are beautiful places. The Bible says this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. When God blesses you with a day, it's a blessing you can't take for granted. So enjoy life. Enjoy life. This life is short. So enjoy life. Oh, you make money and chop some. Go to a good restaurant and go and eat. My friend, what is the meaning of that?
Oh boy, Paul, this is so good. I love the last part, right? Chop some. You cannot chop small cry, are they? So plan to chop some. This one is
plan to chop some. Plan to go somewhere you haven't been before. Go to the Bahamas. Charlie, go somewhere. Travel somewhere. Go and enjoy life. Go and spend some time on the sea.
Chop some. Wow. This has been great. Very insightful. This is so powerful, guys. I hope you guys were taking note. I love the all the areas that Paul touched for us this afternoon, this evening, depending on where you are. The 10-20-70 principle. Hey guys, it can't get better than that. Paul said something that was very profound. Paul said that in every income, whatever cash that money that you're receiving, there is food in it and there's also seed in it, right? And if you are wise, a seed, you can get a lot of food from the seed, right? This is very, very profound. There's a difference between what is food and then seed. And then you talk about housing. This is also another thing for young people, coming up. There's a difference between a dream house and, of course, your first home as well. When you're starting out, you don't want to take up 10 bedroom mansion. No, you start this and you will never finish. Great information. Great information. Of course, we actually got down so practical where to start from and some ideas about this. Paul, if somebody is here, listening in, watching this on YouTube, Facebook, and then that person is okay, great. All this information is great. Where can I start? How do I start it? Who do I contact? Can you give us some phone numbers here? Let me put it up right now on the screen so that people can reach out. Email address and then phone number. Email address and then phone number. Let me put up here. Whilst you're doing that, let me go ahead and grab some comments here. So thank you guys. I've seen you all. Cynthia, you are here. Thank you for joining in and thank you for tuning in. Bismarck, you're here. Kojo is here. Nate is here. Hey, thank you guys for joining in. If you guys have any question, we're almost wrapping up here, and I want to see if there are some few maybe last minute questions here that we can pick up. Chuck here, Juliet Amo, thank you very much, Mommy, for joining in. Emmanuel Nonibe, thank you. I see that people love your Paul, what you talk about ice right. When you get to the store, I've seen some comments out here. They say, what did it pass? What that way? You say ice right.
Why I saw you different.
In Akan, there's a proverb that we say that it says, this is why we are talking about this. Because of poverty, because of the lack, we are not able to, plan. We're not able to, plan about wealth creation. And so even the things that we love, like Paul is saying, you get over there, you have to turn your eyes somewhere else, you know. But hopefully, after all this information this afternoon, this evening, you know, in 2 years' time, 5 years' time, because we will take action. See, guys, the key thing here is what? Taking action. Because we will take action, you know, that eyes right will be eyes left, because we have started doing something, and we have what it takes, you know, to be able to maybe buy whatever thing, whatever we have appetite for. If it's a property, if it's an asset, whatever, we have something, you know, to show for it. Paul, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and grab their phone numbers or the email, and then I'll put it up here so that, you know, especially for my folks here, those that are in Ghana and also in the diaspora, who they can chat with on WhatsApp. If there's any WhatsApp contact, that would be great. If there's a phone number they can call, that would also great. And of course, an email as well works well for some people as well. So let's put it up here.
Thank you. So for the telephone numbers, you can call our contact center, 0302 634165, 0302 634165, or you can call Elizabeth. Elizabeth is my head of sales. You can call Elizabeth directly on the 020 2077 020.
Let's take that number up slow for 020 okay
77 178
178. Okay, I got it up here. So the number to call, you said the name is Elizabeth. Okay.
Yeah.
Elizabeth is the head of sales.
Yeah, and those who will want emails, her email is eodamete, EODAMETEY, EODAMETEY at ecobank.com, eodamete@ecobank.com.
Okay. All right. So guys, that is information on your screen. We have Elizabeth here. Let me be sure that, you know, I don't get somebody's name wrong here. Elizabeth is on your screen here. Elizabeth is the head of sales, and her contact number is on the screen here. It is, of course, if you are outside of Ghana, you have to prefix the number with +233. And of course, the number to reach out to Elizabeth is 020-207-7178. And then if you are, you know, comfortable with emails as well, it is eodamete@ecobank.com. So there is also on your screen. Go ahead, grab your phone, take a screenshot, you know, and then, you know, because we're going to be wrapping up quick here. So go ahead and grab your phone and then take a screenshot of these numbers as I have it, you know, while I have it here on the screen, so that you can reach out to her. Elizabeth, I'm sure, Paul, she can take a WhatsApp message as well, right?
Yes, there is a WhatsApp number. I'll get it for you.
Okay.
We got it on the phone I'm using for this, but I'll get it for you shortly.
Okay, yeah. Okay, no problem. Of course, I mean, if you reach out to me, so I know a lot of you, you guys know me. So if you reach out to me, I'll be sure to redirect you. Make sure you have the right phone numbers, and you know you can reach out to Elizabeth as well. There are some few last comments here. Let me see here, over here. So Benny says, thank you, Benny, for joining. Barry Madankwa, great job. Thank you. And then, all right, so thank you guys. Again, I'll put a number out here so that, you know, you guys can reach out. Paul, I truly appreciate your time.
Sam, I got the WhatsApp number. Let me share it right away.
Okay, let me take it.
So the WhatsApp number is 059.
059, okay.
52 35 065.
065. Okay. 059-5235-065 is the number.
Yeah.
For the WhatsApp. Okay. I'm gonna put it up here on the screen. So make sure that, you know, you have your phones, your cell phone in handy to take a screenshot. And then you can definitely reach out to Elizabeth on WhatsApp as well. So plus 233, the number is 059, so 595235 065. All right, you guys should see this on your screen now. So that's the WhatsApp number, guys. Get in touch, my folks over here. Get in touch with Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the head of sales for Ecobank EDC, and the number is on your screen: 020 020 207 7178. That is the phone number for Elizabeth, and of course the email is also here. The email is EO Damite, right? So that's the email. Is EO Damite, and if you email, she will definitely also respond to your email queries as well. EODamite@ecobank.com. It is on your screen right now, right? You can't miss it. It's on your screen right now. You can't miss it. EODamite@ecobank.com. And of course, I have the WhatsApp number also over here. Plus 233 595 235 06 065 plus 233 595 235 065. So the numbers are right there. Let me see over here if we have some last minute comments here for Paul. Paul, somebody's asking if you have to be, questions on the screen, do you have to be a Ghanaian citizen before you can invest? And what are the requirements? If somebody wants to, invest right now, a person is based out here in America, what do you guys require of this individual?
You don't need to be a Ghanaian citizen, but we need an identification.
Okay.
So if you are based wherever, you will need to we will need your passport picture. We will need a valid national ID. If you are not a Ghanaian, then we need a passport as an ID, and we will need proof of residence where you reside. With these three things, we are good to go.
Okay, all right. So there you have it. Your any form of identification as they required, and then you can go ahead. Of course, now the numbers are on your screen, so get in touch with Elizabeth. Elizabeth will fill in whatever information that Paul, because of time constraint, we are not able to get into all these areas. Paul, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much. For those of you that joined late, Paul Kofi Mante is a MD, the managing director for Ecobank EDC. I didn't get the time even to introduce him properly, and all the portfolio, the size of the portfolio that he manages is several hundreds of $1 million, right? And that is a man, very humble. Yeah. He's over here, and I know he manages over $800 million and so he's a very big man. So for a big man to give us, for a big man to give us his time, Paul, we really appreciate you for coming in.
Come on, someone. Sam, tell them you are my brother. Come on.
For Paul to give us, his time, we really appreciate you. We thank you so much, Paul, for the time. I know, there's one subject that maybe later in the future we may have to get some time and talk about. It's retirement. See, a lot of people that are based out here, there's always the dilemma that they are in, whether to retire in Ghana, whether to build a home in Ghana, and then also come back home, etc. I know retirement is a big subject, and so definitely we'll need a dedicated time for that. So maybe in the future, I will definitely get with you, and then we can talk about that. But Paul, sure. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And then thank you also our viewers, audience here. Without you, of course, there will not be any show, right? And so let me also thank you guys. So Paul, I will get with you on the backstage. Thank you. and hopefully
thank you.
I get to see you soon as well. All right. Thank you, Paul.
No, right. I look forward to seeing you.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.